All right, I'm gonna give it a minute and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this shit started. All right, what's going on tonight, man? Let's have some fun. Somebody got to speak up about this fuck shit. Let me start off by saying you niggas is straight pussy. The whole quote unquote black community, Afro-American, minority, people of color, whatever adjective you want to go by. So let's get into it a little bit tonight. Talk about this Grandmaster J situation. I got some questions that I want to ask people who look like me, that's from the land known as North America. Number one, let me share my screen. You niggas gonna learn tonight. Y'all niggas scary as I don't know what. Let me see, let me get this right. Okay. All right, let me go here right quick. So people who look like me that live in North America, you probably assume that you are a citizen of the United States, and you probably believe that you're a part of what they call we the people. So my first question under Article 1, Section 10 of the Europeans government that they established July 4th, 1776, says right here, highlight this a little bit. I'm gonna take my time with this. I ain't in no hurry. All right, Article 1, Section 10 says, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit. Here's the key, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender and payment of debts. Make anything but gold and silver coin a tender and payment of debts. So my first question to people who look like me that live in the land called North America, when have you ever been paid gold or silver? When have you been paid something that you can take to a bank and redeem it, or deposit it into a bank and in return get gold or silver? You don't know, do you? So is it safe to say if you've never been paid gold and silver, you've never been paid money? If you work every day and you've never been paid money, what does that make you? If you work every day and you've never been paid money, what does that make you? Slave, right? So if there is no money, Black people, prisoners of war, Afro-American, colored, minority, Negro, None of this shit matters. There is no law. The United States government is bankrupt, is full of shit, and they got you working for something that they said in their constitution. They're supposed to allow you to pay off debt with gold and silver, but you've never been paid with gold or silver. And you steady talking about laws and procedures. What's our problem? We the most benign and neglected group of people under this government. You're not getting paid any money. You'll never pay off any debt because the instruments that they're giving you is debt. So let's go back to 6th grade math. A negative and a negative leaves what? A negative. So fiat currency that they're paying you with their killers, their warlords on the face of it, they're giving you debt for your work, and you turn around and you use it to consume. Yet you get no protection, no specific financial resources, and you've never been paid money. I want to start off right here because, man, just straight up, man, this group is pussy. You pussy. And I want you to sit back and pay attention to all the organizations that will say nothing, not only about Grandmaster Jay, but about any other slain person. Pay attention to your NAACP. Pay attention to your religious entities, nonprofit organizations, meaning I can sell God and pay no taxes. Pay attention to your Urban League. Pay attention to your Congressional Black Caucus. Pay attention to your quote unquote Black media. We need to stop using that word. You don't have media. We're relegated to YouTube. These niggas ain't no better than me. You don't have a major news channel to put your news out. And nobody's gonna say nothing about what just took place today in federal court in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm gonna come back to this on and off as I do this video, because if there is no money under a government that says that money should be gold and silver, coin, there is no law. If there is no law, why do you call these people supreme? They fucked up their budget. They came over here as peasants and criminals and homeless from Europe. They bumped into the Iroquois Confederacy. Those Americans taught them how to operate and form a government on this land. They formed a government, fought against the same people from Europe that sent their ass over here, set up shop, and declared what money was going to be under their government. Here we are. What's today's date? May 28th, 2022. If you've never been paid gold or silver, you've never paid a debt. But you steady calling these people supreme. How? Supreme would mean you got wealth. If gold and silver isn't floating around in this economy, there is no wealth. So they've went right back from whence they came. They came over here broke, destitute, and as peasants, and now they're operating and managing a government that's broke and destitute. There's no money. Let me go down here to Article 2, Section 2 of this same Constitution that they wrote for their people. You niggas wasn't a part of this shit. You niggas didn't become a part of this shit till the 1960s. You niggas believe you were slaves. If you were slaves, then what the fuck happened from 1865 to 1965? No, you're prisoners of war on your own land. But let's get into something. And again, shout out Grandmaster Jay. Somebody got to speak up. It's a whole bunch of fuck niggas out here. Nobody really want to just, call it what it is. Right now, I'd hate to be that man sitting in a federal holding cell, having to wait till August of this year before he can find out how much time he gonna get and for what. What is this man finna ride out in federal prison for? Because the Louisville Police Department killed Breonna Taylor, did not create a crime scene after they murdered her. And they just brushed that shit up under the rug like nothing happened. The people of Louisville protested for 100 straight days, calling for justice for this woman. Out of the blue, here comes a guy named Grandmaster Jay with a clique of men and women, Americans, strapped up, dressed in black. They went to Louisville to make the police department create a crime scene. So you niggas got short-term memories because you're dealing with so much trauma. You've been seeing murder after murder after murder since Trayvon Martin. So you niggas don't even remember the last time you got fucked over. So I'm here to help you because I don't get fucked over in the real world. Damn sure ain't finna get fucked over in the make-believe world called the internet. So let's go back. That man went up there with men and women strapped up, dressed in black, just for Louisville Police Department to create a crime scene. Them people created a crime scene too, because the people stood up. And the people of Louisville also didn't go to jail when they were there. My, how funny that is. All of a sudden, your militia and your slave patrol and all your other alphabet agencies that's derivatives of the militia, because the ground floor on this land under this government is the Militia Act of 1755. If you don't know, look the shit up and read it for yourself. You're under military occupation. But it's mighty interesting that when the American arms himself and comes deep enough, nobody has a problem. So the Louisville Police Department can kill Breonna Taylor and have no murder trial for her murder. But the man responsible for organizing and bringing a couple of thousand of men and women dressed in black with straps, basically, you're not going to fuck us over while we up here, was the mentality that they were bringing. That man is going to go to jail. But the man that killed Breonna Taylor never went to court for murder. And you niggas got nothing to say. Nothing. Roland Martin, Tariq Nasheed, Black Authority, pick any of these niggas. Pick any hip hop rap artist that's got a platform. None of you niggas got nothing to say about none of this shit. Tonight, I'm just screaming about Grandmaster Jay. But we can go back 2 weeks ago with the 10 murders in Buffalo. I'm gonna tie that into the AHMAD Arbery case. It's mighty funny how this man stood up when the video leaked that AHMAD Arbery got shot in broad ass daylight on a Sunday morning. This man decided to go down there with some other men strapped up and find out what's going on. Here we are a little over 2 years later after that incident. You niggas just saw 10 people get killed in Buffalo and nothing happened. No reaction. You niggas didn't hit the streets. You niggas ain't causing no ruckus. You niggas is silent. You're numb to your own murders. Let me keep going. Let's go down here to what everybody like to talk about since 2020 after George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and AHMAD Arbery. A lot of these fuck niggas like to talk about the Second Amendment. But we don't read and we got short-term memory. So if you don't understand the government and the laws that's oppressing you and you don't know your history on this land, because you think you was a slave and you came from fucking Africa on a goddamn banana ship, you definitely ain't gonna take time to understand any of these fuck ass amendments. Yeah, I'm on one tonight because this is embarrassing as a group of people. How you niggas just gonna sit back and ain't gonna say a goddamn thing about what just happened? Here's the Second Amendment. Let me see, can I make this bigger? You niggas can't read. Second Amendment says a rail-regulated militia. Who established a militia? The Europeans established in a militia in order to survive and not become extinct when they were exiled from Europe and sent over here on boats called the Mayflower and the Plymouth, whatever the name of the boats were. Bottom line was self-preservation is the first law of nature. So the first thing they did was they regulated themselves and they formed a militia. If you don't know the history of the militia, read the 1755 Militia Act. So a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Next question you got to ask yourself is what type of government was operating on the land North America before the Europeans set up its government known as the United States of America? The answer to that question, because you don't know your history on this land, even though you got great-great-grandparents buried in the land, that's what makes us niggas, or you a nigga in particular. The form of government was a confederacy. But niggas are so upside down and backwards right now that you think confederacy means redneck. So basically they've become you and got you thinking that you're them. They were the actual slaves and peasants coming out of Europe, but they got you thinking that you were the slave and peasant. And then they done also mimic your form of government and they got you thinking that they're Confederates. But when they came over here, they bumped into the Iroquois Confederacy. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because it says being necessary to the security of a free state. The people of this land did not have states. They had tribes and confederacies. So whose side are you on? Black man, black woman, whose side are you on? You can't represent the state because that's something that the Europeans set up under his government. You come from tribes and confederacies. So a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. What people? What people are they talking about here? The right of the people to keep and bear arms. Talking about these people right here. The militia. Shall not be infringed upon. If you don't get that, I don't have time to explain that to you. But the point is, if I use Buffalo as an example, because that's the most recent killing, and that was a massacre at that. Do you think that man was a lone wolf? Or do you think that man was a part of a militia? 18 years old. According to his manifesto, he plotted out the whole day. He had his ETAs down to a mathematical science. He knew where he was going to be at what time, what he was going to do. Who taught him that? At 18. Let me back up. Can you just jump off the porch at 18 and commit mass murders instantly like that? Or have you been trained, groomed, and prepared for years? So first question should be for y'all is who you with? That's not a lone wolf act. They say the man drove 2 hours to get to Buffalo. Who car was he in? How'd he get the guns? Who taught him to be so tactical when he jumped out that car? Pretty much one shot, one kill, everybody that he saw. See, what we like to do is we like to call it white supremacy. It's not white supremacy, it's military occupation. He was a soldier. And what's very disappointing about our group of people is we don't want to deal with the reality that You got an active killer. And when 911 dispatch sent that call out to Slave Patrol, you would think under normal circumstances that Slave Patrol would fear for their life while they're approaching the scene. That's common sense. This man is killing multiple people. But somehow he finds himself in handcuffs. After killing multiple people, and Slave Patrol still didn't see a reason to fear for their life approaching that crime scene. But you can get your brains blowed out for a traffic stop. You niggas is pussy. And I'm talking strictly right now to the men. You niggas is pussy. You ain't got to like the way it sounds and still don't change the fact. This ain't rocket science, y'all. This is third grade math. What about the man in Atlanta last year that killed all them people in the Asian spas? Active killer, arrested. Meanwhile, Ahmaud Arbery gets shot broad daylight for jogging. And countless others in traffic stops. So what I'm gonna do, because you know niggas got short-term memories, I'm gonna play a little bit of this Ahmaud Arbery, because this is how Grandmaster Jay came on the scene. This took place in Georgia, February 2020. Now, the same man that stood up for us or for your black ass, it started there with Ahmaud Arbery. Then Breonna Taylor gets killed in May, and then shortly thereafter, George Floyd gets killed. And May 28th, 2 years ago, the world was on fire because of those three murders. This man comes out and this man saying, let's stop the fuck shit. What he did indirectly was he pulled every man's whole card that's got a YouTube channel that sits up here and sits behind a screen, just like I'm doing right now. He pulled every one of their whole cards because he was able to get people to come from behind the computer and pull up. So it was real interesting how when that, after Ahmaud Arbery, July 4th, they came out at Stone Mountain, deep, on these Europeans' biggest holiday, the day they founded their government on this land, July 4th. They shut it down. And very interesting, mass media had nothing to say about showing men and women dressed in black with weapons, ready for whatever. So immediately all the fuck niggas that's on social media, right, that's got the platforms, y'all niggas ain't got nothing to say, right? Because it's entertainment to you, right? It's clicks, it's views to you, it's subscriptions to you, right? You can sell your little cologne or whatever the fuck you got going on, right? It's all about monetizing and trying to come up off of death and murder of your own kind. So I sit back and I just watch. I say, damn, ain't nobody gonna say nothing about this? All these quote unquote gangster rappers, nobody really got nothing to say about what these people doing. So fast forward to Louisville. Remember, niggas got short-term memory. As I said earlier, they went to Louisville to get justice for Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor, her mother, her family, where y'all at? That's another question I got. Where y'all at? You wouldn't have got your settlement if it wasn't for Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC. So where y'all at? Y'all ain't got nothing to say? This man have been found guilty of a federal case. Where all the people that was marching and protesting for 100 days straight in Louisville? Where y'all fuck ass at? And again, I'm just asking these questions because when you look at the trend, it's obvious. There's a silent war going on against people who look like me in North America. And you niggas is scared. You niggas is scared and you niggas talk from a peasant or a poor spirit. You niggas always begging and crying, talking about when we gonna do this and when we gonna do that. But you don't ever want to just make shit happen. That man made shit happen. But now that man sitting in the federal holding cell, I can only imagine what's going through his mind right now. Like, was it worth it? Was it really worth it to ride for this group of people that won't even stand for themselves? Don't love their kids because your kids are getting killed by the police. These cats 25 and younger. I mean, you got some that's up in age that's getting killed, but Botham John, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Buddy got choked out selling cigarettes. The nigga got choked out selling CDs. I mean, we can go on and on and on. AHMAD AUBURY, the cat in Wisconsin, paralyzed. You niggas don't love yourself. And you're scared. So how is it that this man is found guilty today and Louisville is quiet tonight? Nobody got no smoke. Nobody on YouTube got anything to say. Everybody who looks like me, why everybody ain't live coming to the realization that you done tried everything you can try. You done marched. You let a gay organization called Black Lives Matter just come in 2020, take millions of dollars. Did they pay the fines for any of the people that got arrested during the protests in 2020? With all the millions of dollars that they raised? Did they pay to get people's records exonerated or expunged for trying to stand up for their people? How about the family members of the people that were killed? You know, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, AHMAD AUBURY. Did Black Lives Matter pay for their court cases? Or did Black Lives Matter even donate money to them just off GP? Because you wouldn't be getting money if it wasn't for Black death or quote unquote prisoner of war death. No, so what you did is you let a gay organization come into existence. You let this woman come into the community and finesse you. The government's down with it. Nonprofit organization, if you look into the, in order to get the, I believe it's called the letter of acceptance. But in order to be deemed a nonprofit organization under the United States government, one of the clauses to not pay tax on any money that's generated is you can't go against the government. So how you got a nonprofit organization called Black Lives Matter, but you've already, through your 501c3, made an agreement with the government that you're not gonna rattle the cage because you want to get paid fiat currency and have to pay no tax on it. Remember, you're only getting paid debt. You're getting donated debt. You're not getting gold and silver. You're getting debt. The United States government was cool with that. They said, shit, you can spray paint that shit all in the district's streets. So now you got Black Lives Matter all in the streets in DC while you getting killed. They co-opt your movement. They create a fake group called Antifa, throw that in the middle as well to get you niggas off your square. Because remember, you niggas was talking about defund the police in 2020. Keep telling you niggas got short-term memory. Remember, y'all were talking on that type time, defund the police. So here we are 2 years later, May 28th, 2022. Are the police defunded? You niggas was talking about a George Floyd Act. Did you get a George Floyd Act? You niggas talking about reparations. Did you get reparations? So what did you get since 2020? You got a slave holiday. So let's get back to Grandmaster Jay. So this man goes to Louisville for a second time, but before he goes to Louisville for a second time, those that was checking out his Instagram channel, this man had city, probably county officials on that Instagram page, even had a senator come on his Instagram page as they were telling them that we're going to create a crime scene about Breonna Taylor. Just don't come back up here. And millions of people saw that video. Y'all niggas know what I'm talking about. Again, we got short-term memory. He was exposing, recording the conversations on his Instagram platform, showing you niggas that when you stand up and draw a line in the sand and show some love to yourself and practice the first law of nature, which is self-preservation, you saw public officials start working for you. So they created the crime scene. Now, this man is in communications with different levels of government under the state of Kentucky. They go back a second time for the Kentucky Derby. This is when this fuck ass charge come up. Let's use common sense for a minute. If you communicating with different public servants at different levels within the city of Louisville, they all knew when he was coming, what was possibly going to take place. And you spin that into a situation where you don't want to fuck them, Louisville, Kentucky, but you'll let another entity that is a bold-faced lie. This entity is a bold-faced lie. Let me share my screen one more time. This entity is a bold-faced lie. The federal government. Let me show you how full of shit these people are. They think you stupid. This is what these people go by. These people say that they stand on their constitution. Their constitution says make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. But no U.S. citizen for a 40-hour work week has ever been paid gold and silver. But they're still trying to tell you that it's law. So they come in and supersede the state of Kentucky. They take a steel shot, press charges on the man, ban him from the internet. If that ain't a hit and a half for your ass, what else is? Like, this really ain't rocket science. You get a man a charge, but then you tell him he can't be on the internet. Why can't he be on the internet? Well, because the man was able to organize thousands of people dressed in black, strapped up to pull up AHMAD Aubury, Stone Mountain, Georgia, Louisville, Kentucky. And I believe he did one other, I believe he did another one in another city somewhere else. But not only do you get fuck ass charges, you get banned from the internet. So this is a great litmus test for us, because then you sit back since the time he got banned from the internet and you watch how many people kept that man's name alive. And what's interesting is whether these Europeans are right or wrong, they'll raise millions of dollars to cover their killers. Every time one of them slave patrol kill one of us and there's got to be a court case, they raise millions of dollars. And companies or corporations fund it as well. And our dumb ass, because we can't read financial statements, we don't know our history, and we suffer from short-term memory, you'll still spend money with the same corporation that's funding the defense for the slave patrol that just killed one of us. So what happens with us is we get so moral that we don't, that we miss the first law of nature, self-preservation. There is no morals when it comes to preserving your life. There is no morals when it comes to preserving your life. Every other group of people on planet Earth understand that, which is why every other group of people have military leaders as their leader. You niggas like preachers. Let me say that again. Every other group of people, a military person is their leader. You niggas have preachers. And you wonder why you get killed. They raise money for it. Shit could be on video and everything. They play dumb with your ass. Oh, well, we got to do an investigation. We got to see what's going on. I know it's on video, but let's not really go by what you see on video. Let's bring you into our court system that we established for our own people. Remember, because your ass was outside of the United States government as a citizen until 1965. But you niggas just want to act like you've always been a part of this shit. Short-term memory. So you have no leadership because while you're getting killed, you got niggas praying. The shit don't even go together. All my life, I've never seen somebody try to get their bike took, their shoes took, their lunch tray took, or just anybody trying them in general. I've never seen somebody say, I'm gonna pray for you. Nah, it's going down. But all of a sudden we become adults and we let these random people get on TV, because they never gonna come in your face with this shit, but they'll get on TV and they'll just make it seem like we the softest people on planet Earth. So again, tonight I'm on one. Somebody got to speak out about this shit. This whole shit with Grandmaster Jay is fuck shit. And the fact that niggas ain't got nothing to say about it, that's a scary place to be in 2022. And look at everything that's happened in May, 2 years later, from Breonna Taylor and George Floyd being murdered in May. They got 10 of you at one time. I just showed you a video of AHMAD AUBURY. It took one for people who look like me, men and women, to dress up in black, strapped up, and start getting straightening around here. They just killed 10 at one time. And you niggas ain't got nothing to say. Matter of fact, something else happens in Texas and European media just puts the focus on that. Yeah, damn them niggas that got killed. Yeah, let's focus on these kids. And I'm gonna say this because I'm unapologetic, because self-preservation comes first. I'm more focused on what happened in Buffalo. Who were the 10 people that got killed in Buffalo? That's my group of people. We don't think like that. You actually let people who came here from another landmass tell you who you should be concerned about when they die. The media has you believing that the children of multiple lineages are more important than the 10 Americans that got killed in Buffalo. Meanwhile, this man get found guilty today in federal court, and you niggas is quiet as a church mouse. This is a horrible situation, and it only gets worse from here. You know, when you could watch a video with a man putting a knee in a man's neck for over 9 minutes and nothing changes within that government for that group of people that had to deal with that, and you think about all the burnings and all the riots and protests and everything that happened after that, and this government, the people who run it, still decided not to change one damn thing. And here you are 2 years later, the only man that was able to organize people and put boots on the ground, he's in federal prison right now waiting to be sentenced in August. So he got to sit down 3 months before sentencing on bullshit charges. He's about to go to federal prison while the man who killed Breonna Taylor never had a murder trial. And you niggas got nothing to say. And you wonder why we're in last place as citizens under this government. You're a prisoner of war by choice because there is no money. You're literally getting fucked over by people who are managing and running a government that has no money. You pussy. They have nothing to stand on. They have nothing to stand on. There is no money. So why are you getting fucked over? You ain't even getting fucked over. You're getting killed. On video. You have nothing to lose because you've been working your whole life and you have never been paid gold or silver. You got nothing to lose. So that's why I'm like, fuck it. I'll do a live video. I don't give a damn. Number one, I fear no man. You got to get buried just like I got to get buried. Straight like that. And it's crazy because I'm like, damn, my generation, we grew up off quote unquote rap. We contradict ourselves in the music we listen to. We let these people mass incarcerate us. You already not getting paid money. So you got fake money, fake food, school to prison pipeline. You get no protection from their government. You get no specific resources from their government. When they do the worst thing to you that can ever be done to any human being on planet Earth, which is kill you, you don't retaliate. You march. You pray. And you get with nonprofit organizations who will never go against the United States government and side with your black ass, because part of the terms and conditions to selling their ideal and not paying taxes to the United States government is that they can never go against the United States government. So niggas got a decision to make. You niggas gonna draw a line in the sand and say, fuck the dumb shit, NAACP, Urban League, Black Lives Matter, pastors, fraternities, all that shit got to be on the other side of the line. There's got to be a line drawn in the sand. No more nonprofit organizations. It's time to build tribes and confederacies, go back to American form of government. Why are you reporting to a government or trying to establish an entity? Why are you trying to establish an entity under a government that is bankrupt and has no money? And nobody can answer that question. So Kanye West was right. Slavery is a choice. Because you niggas choose to be oppressed by people who set up a government that does not operate the way that they said it was supposed to, according to Article 1, Section 10. They said only gold and silver coin can be a payment of debt. And you niggas have never been paid gold and silver coin for any 8-hour day or 40-hour work week or 80-hour work week. So why are you letting these people fuck you over when they're not supreme? If they were so supreme, they would be taking care of this. Anybody who's a citizen of this government, if they were so supreme, you'd be getting paid gold and silver because they're on top of their game. They're managing the resources. But when you're under a group of people who came from nothing, peasant status, homeless, prison, they brought the ass over here, set up a government, started off operating on universal laws that all other governments on planet Earth were operating under. gold and silver for any services rendered. Now you operating under a fiat currency and you letting these people fuck you over. Shout out to Grandmaster J, man. Shout out to everybody that was rocking with that man. Whether you fell out with that cat or not, at the end of the day, that man's paying an ultimate price right now. So was Otha Wallace. Man, if they fuck Grandmaster J over like this and niggas have not and are not supporting Grandmaster J, then what you think gonna happen to Otha Wallace? State of Florida trying to kill that man. You niggas is pussy. I'm talking about the niggas who poor-spirited, busted. I don't even want to say broke because everybody broke unless you got gold and silver because there's no money. But you niggas just cowards. Admit it. You won't stand for nothing. Whole blood is what we used to call it back in the day. You got whole blood. You got to bring ass to whoop ass. But if they can kill your ass and all you're going to do is march and pray and vote. You know, what's interesting, man, 1960s, I wasn't around at that time. I wasn't on planet Earth in the 1960s, but after today, Grandmaster J is the only living person that I was old enough to watch and see stand up for the people. I understand a lot clearer now why niggas don't talk about the Black Panthers. You know why? Because you got a lot of people who look like me that went to college and studied law, and you niggas ain't trying to get none of those political prisoners of war out of prison, and they've been riding out for 40 and 50 years. That's why your mammy and your daddy and your auntie and your uncles and your cousins from back then, that's why nobody want to talk about the 60s and the 70s. You know why? Because they were pussy. We're doing the same thing that our parents did. You don't think they were watching people get hung, get killed, churches getting bombed, dogs getting sicked on them? Niggas wasn't doing that. Your mama and your daddy is doing the same thing that you're doing right now. Nothing. That's why I never stop. It's okay to lose a fight. It ain't okay to get your ass whooped. We've been getting our ass whooped for a long time. We've been getting our ass whooped, I'm gonna say probably around since the 1960s. So we got a good, what, 60 years of getting our ass whooped. Chemical warfare, crack cocaine, war on drugs, then turn around, war on crime, start locking y'all soft ass up. Fuck it, y'all ain't gonna trip about that. We'll do a school to prison pipeline. So they've been targeting the kids. They've been doing that since the 1990s. You niggas 40 and 50 years old got kids 20, 18, 25, 27. How are we the only group of people that let this government create a school to prison pipeline with our kids? And that's normal. But let me get back to these Black Panthers and Grandmaster J. I understand a lot now why these men and women are doing 40 and 50 years since the 1960s. And most of you niggas don't even know their names. I understand why the government could kill Martin Luther King, and you niggas still want to participate in this bullshit. So now here we are, May 27th, 2022. John Fitzgerald Johnson goes to federal court, gets found guilty, And you niggas ain't gonna do or say a damn thing. How long y'all think this gonna last? I'm talking to the men right now. How long y'all niggas think this gonna last? Where you can just get killed and you've accepted no consequences. So let me get this straight. The same police force that was started as a slave patrol, that same police force started doing business as police. So it went from slave patrol to police. That force was sicking dogs on your mama and daddy. Now that same police force is blowing your brains out, whether you're in your house eating ice cream or you face down on the ground and getting executed at the back of the head. And you niggas will still want to rely on that system with that history. What's wrong with y'all? You're scared. There is no law and there are no rules. I challenge anybody that's watching this video right now. If you believe that there is law, let me share my screen one more time. Article 1, Section 10 of the European Constitution says, make anything but gold and silver coin a payment of debts. If you're not getting paid gold and silver coin, if you're not giving the bank gold and silver coin, the car loan or the dealership, if you're not giving people gold and silver coin, you're not paying off a debt. Not only that, it says, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. That's the money. So I'm talking to the men, the so-called go-getters, paper chasers. You niggas ain't even getting paid money and you still letting these people kill you. Like, they're showing how inept they are. They fucked it up. They shot they load. They had their best life. They came over here. They set this shit up in July 4th, 1776. Here we are a little over 240 something years later. There is no money under this motherfucker. Let me even be more specific. The minute they gave you niggas rights to be a citizen under this government in the 1960s, you know, when they show you Martin Luther King, Malcolm X and all of that, they took the gold or the money out of the system in 1971, the gold standard act. Y'all can't put two and two together. You're never supposed to be a citizen of their government. They were left for dead. Europe exiled them and sent them to a foreign land. They didn't care what happened to them. Shout out to them for surviving. They formed a militia and they realized that it was self-preservation. They had to kill Americans in order to stay alive. But here they are 240 some odd years later, their government has no money. But you're still letting this group of people tell you what to do if there's law. If there's no money, then none of this shit matters. If Article 1, Section 10 of their Constitution is voided, then none of the other this shit matters. They're lying in your face. Is what they're not better than you people. They're just compulsive liars. And they're hoping that you won't read and understand this shit is all make-believe since 1971. So there is no justification for being killed by this group of people. And the one man that decided to organize and actually put boots on the ground, here this man is in jail and you niggas got nothing to say. If you do got something to say, you're trying to have a little pity party. You niggas talking about what we need to do and this, that, and the other. No, let's just get straight to the point. You're scared. You're scared to come outside. You're scared to protect yourself and strap up. and you scared to get straightened, and you scared to call these people on their shit. And they know that. And that's why they killing your ass. I'm gonna take me a little break right quick. I got some more shit to say on this. Again, shout out Grandmaster Jay. It's unfortunate. This is a critical lesson that men need to learn, and women that's willing to stand up and do anything positive for this group of people, because we've watched what happened with this man. This man couldn't get millions of dollars raised for him, standing up for your black ass. But an officer can kill your cousin on video, and you'll watch other Europeans, right or wrong, fund that man in the tune of millions of dollars to defend himself. And you niggas keep talking about morals. There are no morals when it comes to self-preservation. And that's the curse that we're under. You keep trying to balance the scale of right and wrong when self-preservation cuts through morality. Self-preservation cuts through morality. You can't let another group of people kill you and then tell you how to react. You cannot let a group of people kill you and then tell you how you should react. They'll tell you, rely on the court system. The same court system that you were not a part of until the 1960s. And when they did allow your ass to be a citizen, they never specifically recognized you. They called you a minority. They put you in a bowl with European women, gays, handicaps, and immigrants. So basically they're saying that we got to give the Americans that we denationalized during the Seminole War, if we got to give these niggas rights, we finna give everybody rights. But we can't budget to give everybody rights. So guess what we also got to do? We got to make it what they called a great society. Yeah, it was a great society, all right. It's the dumbest thing that's ever happened on planet Earth, because they took the money out of the system in 1971 with the gold standard act. We'll let you niggas be citizens, but we got to take the money out because we never budgeted for you to be a citizen. So here we are a little over 62 years later, and you niggas are getting killed on video and watching people who stand up and ride for you. You're watching them get fucked over by a fake government because it has no money. And I'll stand on this. I don't give a fuck what officer of the court that watched this video. I ain't debating with you. I don't major in the minors. I'm showing you Article 1, Section 10. The only thing that can pay for debt is gold and silver. You ain't getting paid that for your fees and your services. You getting paid fiat. So if the government can't even adhere to its own law, what the fuck do we look like adhering to it? Take me a little chill pill right quick. I'll be right back, man. Let me pause for the calls real quick. Again, shout out to Grandmaster J, man. You niggas ain't gonna say nothing. You know, you niggas is pussy. You niggas is scared. And it's embarrassing because it's who you're afraid of. You're afraid of somebody that fucked up their government. They fucked it up. There is no money. Why are you getting chunked off when there is no money? You niggas need to think about that shit. Not only does that not make you, that makes you the dumbest person on planet Earth, it makes you one of the softest people on planet Earth as a man. Because you got another group of men dictating to you how shit's gonna be done, and they ain't got no money. Only difference between our parents and our grandparents and our generation, you niggas got straps. Remember, you suffer from short-term memory. 2020, didn't gun sales go up after Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George? So you niggas got guns. Let me guess. You see one white boy in Buffalo who's probably been training since he was 14 years old. You see one of their best soldiers, because he's a soldier from a standing army, but it's a militia, but they have bodies. They sent one of their best out, and you niggas is intimidated. But you got the right to have a gun now with your quasi-citizenship. What you afraid of? So let me guess. He can shoot better than you because he's from Europe. And it's interesting. You niggas will get in the boxing ring and knock everybody out on planet Earth. You'll become the youngest heavyweight, middleweight, lightweight. You'll get on the football field. You'll run the fastest, catch more passes, throw more passes. You'll get on the baseball field, show your ass. You'll get on the soccer field, show your ass. You get on the basketball court, show your ass. But when it come time to fighting for your family and your own fucking life, you're the biggest pussies on planet Earth. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah. Somebody got to tell you the truth. Somebody got to tell you the truth because we passed the point of and it's crazy because it's like the people who they put the camera in front of, y'all been pussy your whole life. You ain't been known for doing nothing your whole life. You don't know how to manifest nothing. You don't know how to set a goal and get from point A to point B worth a damn. That's why you niggas always got your head down and your chin tucked in, talking about what we need to do and why we can't do this, why we can't do that, why you just don't make shit happen. Why you don't make shit happen? So we divided. You got the college of our generation. Again, let's go back to history. You niggas didn't become citizens to the 1960s. So you niggas started going to Auburn and all these major colleges in the late 80s and 90s. You niggas think you better than. But you're actually the dumbest of our group because you went to school to learn the system, especially those that study law. You niggas went to school for this shit. but yet you work and operate in a system that mass incarcerates your own people, and that's normal to you. But you think you got it going on because you generate 6 figures of income, but you got a negative net worth. You owe more than you have, and you think you better than us. But you're working in a system that mass incarcerates us, and that's normal to you. The Asians don't do that shit. The Mexicans don't do that shit, and the European don't do that shit. The only group of people who allows that to be normal, getting fucked over and violating the first law of nature, which is self-preservation, is you. Because you're scared. You're scared to do the hard work and write up operating procedures and standard procedures and rules and regulations for a confederacy. Let me show y'all something right quick. Because again, niggas got short-term memory and you don't know your history. Show you niggas something. Let's go to Article 6. No. Show you niggas something. We're going to stay in that same article, Article 1, Section 10, the same one that says what money is. No state. Who created the states? Europeans, right? Because on this land, it was tribes and confederacies. They set up states. So the European code is no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. Who has the confederations? The Americans. The European is telling other Europeans, if you come over here and become a citizen of our government, this is what you can't do. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. But they got you so dumbed down in the school system that you think white people are Confederates. They got you so dumbed down in the school system, you're thinking white people are the American/Confederates when they're citizens of a state. Why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because all you niggas that went and learned law, you niggas won't write up Confederation documents. They telling you, no state can enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. They can't do business with a confederation. Why? They usurped it. They're telling you in their constitution they cannot do business with a confederation. So that's exactly what we must do. We must honor our mothers and our fathers, or more specifically, our great-grandparents, who are Americans who descend from tribes, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Seminole, and a whole lot of other ones. You got to honor your mothers and fathers. You got to go back to an American form of government. They can't do business with a confederation. But they got you niggas thinking that you came over on a boat and you was a slave. But you never stop and ask yourself the question, how did Europeans get to North America? How did Europeans get to North America from the 1400s to around the 1950s? How did they get to America? By the millions. on boats. But you dumb niggas will overlook that fact and you'll put yourself on a boat and tell yourself that you came from another landmass on a boat, when the fact remains every last single one of them came from Europe. And in their constitution that you were not a part of, July 4th, 1776, or when they ratified it in 1789, you were not a citizen of that. That's their code. But guess what? They broke their own code because there is no money. But you'll sit right here and let your people get mass incarcerated and killed on video, and you won't do nothing. The shit don't even make sense. You'll get killed, and then you'll follow a religious leader, and you'll pray. It's disgusting. Even the best nonviolent leader, Martin Luther King, how did he die? Violently. As peaceful and as nonviolent as that man was, it was one shot, one kill. And you niggas want to hold on to that business model of getting straightening. So Grandmaster J, man, ain't nobody gonna give you your flowers, bro. Ain't nobody gonna give you your flowers, dog. These niggas that's got these major platforms, these niggas is not gonna say your name. These niggas is, they're trauma porn queens. They go from situation to situation just to monetize their little channel. These cats ain't gonna organize anything, because if they could, they would have. And it's just a fucked up situation that, again, I'd love to be a fly on the wall, man, in that federal cell, just to hear what he's saying to himself at this point. Because you damned if you do, damned if you don't with this group of people. It's one thing to stand up and ride for yourself and ride for the people that's immediately around you. It's a whole nother thing when as a group, we won't, I mean, why are we participating as citizens under a government that has no money? Why? Why are you niggas so quiet when the only man that could organize and get people off the internet and actually on the ground in different locations, dressed in black, strapped up, ready for whatever? Why won't you niggas ride for that man? I'll tell you why. And it's a harsh reality, because if you won't ride for the dead, you won't ride for the George Floyds, the Botham Johns, the Philando Castiles, the Alton Sterlings, the Michael Browns, the Trayvon Martins, the Breonna Taylors, the Ahmaud Arbery's. If you won't ride for them, it only makes sense that you won't ride for the living. You don't even respect the dead. You won't even get justice for your dead. Niggas got short-term memories. Remember when Donald Trump killed that general before he got out of office? Those group of people told the world that we will be retaliating. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Then people sent missiles over to barracks. The Afghanistan people practice self-preservation, got the European up off their land. Right now in Ukraine, even though it's European against European, it's the animal kingdom, y'all. You can't be a lion and let another group of lions come take your cubs, take your women, take your territory, and you just walk around in circles. No smoke. Nature has no feelings. only laws. Self-preservation is a law. There's no feelings involved with self-preservation. If you're letting a group of people under a government that has no money lock you up for whatever reason that they want to, kill you for whatever reason that they want to, mass incarcerate you for whatever reason they want to, benign and neglect you for whatever reason they want to, and you allow it, nature don't give a damn about that. And the rest of the human family don't give a damn about you. Because if you're not going to stand up for yourself, then ain't nobody going to ride for you. But isn't it interesting, when you stood up in 2020, the whole world stood up. Why does the world ride with you so hard? Maybe because everything that we live with on a day-to-day basis, we invented it. You just don't know who those inventors are. Maybe everything that we use on a day-to-day basis, or let me say it correctly, maybe the majority of things we use on a day-to-day basis, maybe we invented it and you just don't know it. Maybe the world knows that we are the best fighters. We are the most athletic. We are the best shooters. We the best killers. And so other groups of people would rather be on our side when we stand up than be the enemy. 2020 showed us that. Why did the world fuck with you like that? Why were they tearing down they fake Confederate statues? Because again, the European cannot be the Confederate. That's not the government that their forefathers set up. Their forefathers set up the United States. They learned how to form their United States from the Iroquois Confederation. So what they've done since the Civil Rebellion, because there was no Civil War, that's a whole nother topic, but you niggas ain't gonna read President Andrew Johnson's amnesty document to see for yourself that their president says they're fake Confederates. They can't be Confederates. Why? You can only be a citizen of the United States government. So this period that they call Reconstruction, which is really lying, yeah, they got you niggas segregated. So they create this fake world, call a town or a city, and put up statues, Confederate statues, and got you niggas believing that they were your great-grandparents. So in 2020, they tearing that shit down. Some of them were riding with you because they didn't want smoke with you. And then what happened in 2020 that got you in 2022 in a worse situation? You let sellout people who look like you tell you, wait a minute, let's use some morality. We don't want to be trying to get smoke and straightening on that level. We don't want to be tearing up stuff. That's where you fucked up. Because self-preservation is the first law of nature. Morality has nothing to do with self-preservation. If you don't believe me, look at the Vietnam War. Self-preservation will have a 10-year-old with an AK-47. The European, through its media, will make it seem like, oh, they're using kids. No, that kid knows who he is. He knows what land he's from, and he's learned early in life to fight for his land. Same thing the militia guy did in Buffalo. He knows who he is. He knows that this is the land that his ancestors conquered and currently occupy. And so he's going to try to put the fear of God in you. And they're going to let loose a soldier every now and then to do so. And see, you in a fucked up situation right now, because as they're killing you in mass now, it's not an Ahmaud Arbery or Breonna Taylor or a George Floyd situation. Now they get you 10 at a time. Now it looks real awkward to be marching and praying when they killing you 10 at a time, don't it? So you stuck right now. You so used to getting your lunch took and your shoes took and your bike took and your annihilators took and your allowance from your parents. Now you stuck. You ain't fought in so long. Now you stuck because marching and protesting, it don't balance mass murders of your people. And the sad part is you niggas are strapped up. And some of you niggas been trained by this same government how to fight. Whether you be police, sheriff, or military. Where y'all at? You scared. And you pussy. You scared and you pussy. There is no explanation for what's going on right now. There's no organizing politically and voting your way out of this shit, marching your way out of this shit, protesting your way out of this shit. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. They've been killing your kids since Trayvon Martin. And how long are we going to stay out of alignment with nature, thinking that you can do anything but self-preserve yourself and your group? I don't even know how long it's been since Trayvon Martin got killed, or Mike Brown when they did the second Million Man March, and it goes on and on and on. But how long are we going to be out of balance? What are you afraid of? Death? So you niggas that far in denial, you really think you're going to live forever? What you scared of? And shout out to Grandmaster Jay, because another thing he showed is when men and women show up strapped up, ready to die, where was the European at? I mean, this person that you say is so supreme that has fucked up their monetary system under their government because there is no money. You know, these people that are so supreme, where were they when that man took them people out there ready for smoke? Now, see, the fuck niggas who ain't gonna never come from behind the computer and ain't gonna never do nothing, they got all kind of game to say, oh, he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. But at the end of the day, if you weren't there, but you just sit back and analyze, damn, everywhere them cats went, where was the militia? Why didn't the police bust around? Why didn't the National Guard come out? What you fear is not as bad as you think it is. They're gonna fight to occupy foreign land. We have to come to the realization that if your grandparents are buried in this land and your great-grandparents are buried in this land, you got to fight because you're from the land. Who wins that fight? If I came to your house when we were jits and I wanted to fight you in your front yard in front of your family, who 9 times out of 10 gonna win that fight? Me or you? So who gonna win the fight? The people who from the land or the people who trying to occupy the land? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? They are about to attempt to do this man just like the Black Panthers in the 1960s. You got people from the 1960s been riding out 40 and 50 years, and you niggas don't know their names. You niggas didn't make not one holiday to celebrate the people who ride for you. And you wonder why immigrants come to this land and become citizens under this government and they stay far away from your ass because you ain't loyal. Man, I'm gonna just say it like this. As a group of people, we a piece of shit. As a group of people, we are a piece of shit. That's why nobody fuck with us. You ain't no code. You don't stand for nothing. You don't stand for nothing. It's all bad from here. Just look at the timeline. Your murders are in the tens now. The one man that was able to organize and get people to rally and try to get justice for a woman, he just got locked up in the feds now. Based on our history since the 1960s, you niggas don't even know, or you forget the people who rode for you. Y'all forget about Grandmaster Jay. So you supposed to just sit here and listen to these niggas continue to talk trauma porn about the next time you get fucked over by the European. How long you think that's gonna last? They already forecasting by 2053, this group of people gonna have zero wealth. They got a plan. How long you think this gonna last? You just came out of a worldwide pandemic and you got no financial resources and no protection coming off of 2020. And if you think that's normal, you might as well turn yourself into the penitentiary. You are a slave. If you think after 2020, coming out of a worldwide pandemic, you are a part of a group that got no specific financial resources and no specific protections under this government, you are a slave. So what's the next step for this group of people? Now that they've killed 10, locked up Grandmaster Jay, everybody who was rocking with them, nobody gonna say nothing. What's the next step for this group of people? There was already, what, over 30 bomb threats at HBCUs earlier this year. So what happened if they deploy a couple of militia soldiers on one of these HBCU campuses, and they decide to go live with live stream head cams like they did in Buffalo, and take out 100 of our kids in college? What y'all niggas gonna do? March? Pray? What if they activate large groups of the militia all over the land in cities where we're populated and just march you niggas to concentration camps? Does that sound too far-fetched? Do you not think that you can be done like the Jew in Germany? I mean, because it's a steady progress. Not so much you not practicing self-preservation, but getting everybody else on planet Earth used to your death. See, nobody else is going to stand up for you. The Europeans going to benign and neglect you. That's why you don't hear no more talk about Buffalo shootings. That's why you don't hear no major talk about Grandmaster Jay. It's called benign and neglect. We just act like it didn't happen. It's a silent war. We killing y'all ass and we locking y'all ass up. We just won't talk about it. What's the next step now that other groups of people have become okay with your incarceration and your murder? What's the next step? Murder en masse. That's already happened. What's after murder en masse? Murders in more mass. You niggas act like you can't go to concentration camps. You niggas act like you can't be the Jews of World War II in Germany. Like, you really think that that's unbelievable, that they won't burn you alive by the hundreds of thousands. You really don't think that can happen. And learn this lesson from the Jews. It took that for them to get on code and practice self-preservation. What is it going to take for us? What's got to happen to us to practice self-preservation? It took concentration camps for them. We've been hung. We've been burned alive. We've been mass incarcerated. We done had chemical warfare through the crack era. We done had another chemical warfare with the coronavirus. You've been gentrified. They done took all your neighborhoods you had. You never had communities. You never had communities since the 1930s, 40s, 50s. You never had no community. A community means a hospital, grocery store, school. You niggas ain't got that nowhere in America in 2022. And you don't have neighborhoods now because you're gentrified. So you're scattered. And your households are broken. Yeah, see, when they took the money out of the system and made you niggas citizens, they also took the warrior out of the house and propped the woman up as head of household. I ain't saying that's right or wrong, but I don't know of a standing army with women in it. The niggas in prison. They ain't in prison and you still out here and you winning and you up. Where y'all at? I'm online. What you scared of? Ain't no money. They're not supreme. They got all your records. You invented every goddamn thing. It's your land. What you scared of? The worst that can happen is you fuck around and honor your great-grandparents, go back to confederacies and tribes, and go back to real money, and go back to managing the wealthiest, richest land on planet Earth, which is America, it's not Africa. That's the worst that can happen. In my eyes. In you niggas' eyes, the worst thing that can happen, I say concentration camps. I say they're gonna have to start burning you niggas alive by the thousands before you do anything after 2020. And don't forget January 6, 2021. Interesting, no RICO charges. Weak ass federal indictment charges on the ones that they did catch. Matter of fact, officers that got murdered, nobody caught a murder charge. You see how everybody got on code on the European side in front of the world? They just showed the world. Only we can bum rush our capital and ain't a damn thing gonna happen. But you, Grandmaster Jay, that brought your ass to Louisville, Kentucky for this Black woman, this prisoner of war. You got the audacity to try to get justice for this woman? We'll lock your ass up and won't even do a murder trial for her death. And the sad part about it is, where's Breonna Taylor's family? You got the money. You ain't gonna speak out about Grandmaster Jay. You can't have the money without that man and his militia. Ahmaud Arbery, mother, father, family, y'all ain't gonna say nothing? You wouldn't have got justice if it wasn't for Grandmaster Jay and his militia pulling up. The ball got started with him. So watch these people and watch these fake organizations. They don't work for you. It's too many murders to say that the NAACP works for you. It's too many murders to say that these preachers work for you. It's too many murders to say that these fraternities work for you. It's too many murders to believe that a nonprofit organization works for you. These corporate fictions, ideas that came out of humans' minds, they do not work for you. The facts show it. Too many niggas done got killed. There's no fear of any organization that claims to represent us as a people. The only organization that was feared was that militia. And that man is in federal prison right now. And the man that killed Breonna Taylor never had a murder trial. And you niggas in Louisville is okay with it, and you niggas in LA is okay with it, and you niggas in Chicago is okay with it, and you niggas in Florida okay with it, you niggas in Atlanta okay with it, you niggas in the Carolinas okay with it, you niggas in New York okay with it. Everybody is a pussy at this point because they just checkmated you. The one organization that was standing for you, they just put that king in checkmate. And all the other pieces on the chessboard are still on the chessboard. How that happen? How you get checkmated when you still got all your pieces? Because you're scared.